Time for this week's CEO blog with John. Dummacy, I've learnt this week the N's silent after about 30 years.
Well, 30 years for you, it's more like more than 50 for me, so I'm telling a bit of truth about age there, but no, it's Dummacy, silent N, got it right.
There you go, so drop the N and add an S.
Yeah.
Red Ochre, last Sunday at Dubbo, they looked to have a great crowd up there.
Oh, really good crowd, and what was fantastic about it was on a short run-up. This meeting came in late. We had to change dates with Cowra. Cowra had their centenary meeting. Wasn't ideal that Greyhounds, Dubbo Greyhounds were on that night, but no, the crowd got behind it. What was really tough, and it was tough for the chairman, Rod Smith, he was the judge on the fashions in the field, and it was based on women in red. And he did his best. We found a winner and several runner-ups.
Right. I could go further, but I won't. We're only doing this in one take.
Yeah.
We'll go from that better enforced sensational. She's done a great job since coming to New South Wales via Victoria from New Zealand.
Yeah, certainly did. And Eric Basham, Tony Peacock were the owners. It was great to see those quality mares line up. Ruby's for Tash, the runner-up, all the way Bruce Harpley from Wagga. So the race really worked. We have to do a little bit more work on the rest of the program, but there were 8 winners, 8 very happy owners, of course, collections of owners, partnerships and what have you, and the second placed horses, they won some money as well.
We go from Craig Cross and the McCarthy stable having a wonderful season to Michaela Mitchell. She's on her way.
She's on at Burling. Michaela had her first winner as a trainer up there in Tamworth. Driven by Sarah Rushbrook, and Sarah got a double on the day, so the locals are really doing making fine yards there in Tamworth. So, it was good. Michaela, as a young girl training a winner, it just shows our industry. We encourage everyone to be involved. We put our arms around and welcome them in, and it was really good to see a win.
Tamworth horse population as strong as anywhere numbers-wise in the state?
Oh, certainly are, and it's a long-term strategy of Harness Racing New South Wales to encourage people to take their horses or send their horses to Tamworth. Yes, they can send them interstate, but the prize money at Tamworth is as good as anywhere else in New South Wales. We're doing a lot of work on the permanent stables there on the course. We will have 120 stalls, not in the not too distant future, all really well done up. They were a little bit dilapidated like the rest of the ground when we purchased Tamworth, but no, we're making fine yards, and congratulations to the club, Julie Moore and Michael Jones. They're doing a great job, and the whole committee there, but it's the participants that are really getting behind it.
Racing again this Thursday too.
Yes, another strong meeting, always a strong meeting.
On to, do we mention the Interdominions? It's been a complete strip out for New South Wales.
But it's never over till it's over. Bling It On brought his better game to the track last night. He's 2 points off being in the final, so he will need to finish first, second, potentially third, depending on the rest, to make that final. But no, it hasn't been as good as what we thought it would be, but we still have faith with Bling It On.
Poor old Tough Monarch looked the perfect draw with the way the heats had gone at Alexandra Park in round 2, and the horse in front of him gallops out.
Yeah, what do they say? That's racing.
It does, that's very true. Adam Fairley, gone.
Oh, well, not gone. He's taken up a very good position as a general manager of the Blacktown District Soccer Club Association. Big job, but it's a good career pathway for Adam. He's served this industry so well, but he can see that with the way soccer or football, as they like to call it, is going in New South Wales and Australia, that he can build his way up through the state league and potentially right up to the top level. So congratulations to Adam for achieving or being able to be recruited for that job. But we're looking for a replacement. Job applications close next Monday.
He's been here a long time.
He's been here 8 years. He had a little bit of let's say a holiday in Queensland for 4 or 5 years, and he'd been here for 8 years before that. So 20 years in the industry, Adam. It is a pity to see him go, because he's got so much potential, and there's nothing that Adam hasn't got a grasp on in this industry. So, as I said, we'll be looking for a replacement.
When's he finish up?
He finishes up just after New Year, so this is how loyal he is to the industry. He gave us as good as 8 weeks notice, which is uncommon in this day and age. Generally, people find a new job and they move on within the shortest possible time. So, Adam, well done.
Before he goes, he's left us a survey, which is currently now available online.
It's online. Every participant in the state received this survey via email. I encourage whoever's got the survey to fill it in. It's a few minutes, that's all. And we get the feedback then to make some decisions on what we need to do. And these decisions or these questions come out of what participants are saying to us. But not everybody gets to see us. So they're good questions, but we need to know what everyone thinks they should do.
Right, a quick run through them. The Group 1 Riverina Carnivals for 4-year-old entires, mares and 4 and 5-year-olds. Similar to 2 round heats of the Inter-Dominion or other setup around that?
Yeah, we looked at that. It's heats into a final. A number of participants came to us and said, we think in this day and age, 1 round of heats into a final is sufficient. Then we get another group that say, oh no, we want it how it always was in the old days, not with this carnival because it's brand new, of course, but so we're looking at what is the best. We'll ask the participants and we'll get a number.
ODMs, whether it's outside at the back row or outside the front. And
another thing, is the outside the front the worst draw? Or is it on the second row the worst draw? Well, our issue here, our ODM horse is generally a bit fractious, so we need to have him out of the way, or her out of the way. So it's the participants, if they want to start outside the front, some people will say that's an advantage because you haven't got a row of horses in front of you, but the participants will speak there.
Also, respect to Group 1, 2 and 3 races at Bathurst, the Riverina Paceway and Goulburn, distance of 2,000 metres or more, above 10, or should remain at 10.
Well, above 10, that's right. Well, we heard it loud and clear that 12 horse fields were not what the participants wanted. Number of reasons, but anyway, we're back to 10 horse fields. But then we get the situation, all of a sudden in these bigger races, the 30s, the 50s, the $100,000 races, there'll be 2 spots that won't be available. So we go back out to the participants and see, do you really want 10? Or do you want 12? So in the bigger races. So 10 will stay. 10 will definitely stay on for the majority of races, but it's just with these higher value races.
Now, a change possibly around emergencies has been floated in this survey as well.
It has, and this discussion has gone on for many, many years. Where does the emergency draw? Part of this came back to the Canola Cup. You were there with that 4 with Bernie Hewitt. We had 4 horses off the front row and 6 off the second. One of the horses off the second row got a bit fractious and wanted to be on the barrier. They're trained to be on the barrier. Caused a disruption and Bernie got tipped out. Luckily, not so severely injured as what we thought. So should we have a front row complete? That seems like the safe way about it, but where do those emergencies go? And what we're saying is to ensure we've got that front row, the emergencies should be on the second row, and if there is a scratching, they will take the position of the scratching. So if the one's scratch and you're the first emergency, you'll be on the front row. There is another part of that question, of course, and people should look at that, is do we have emergencies? So there's a couple of points there.
And for the Western Districts, some things around races like the Bathurst Shootout.
Yeah, the Shootout is a great idea. It's built around the races, the car races that are on at that same time of the year. This year it failed. The year before it struggled. Is it the right concept to keep taking forward? We've got some people who are really solid behind it, but they can be solid behind it, but if we don't get the trainers and the owners putting the horses in, well, we have to come up with a different concept. So for the Western Districts trainers, where these horses actually come from, we're asking that question, will you, under the certain conditions we've put out there, will you support that race? It's
an important meeting, that one, especially with the track being so close to Mount Panorama and the crowd they get there now.
Oh, they do, and Wayne and Danny, they do a great job because I think they told me they had 50 camper trailers on Gold Crown Paceway. So they are there and they're feeding into. The club's open all the time. They can have a meal and something to drink. But the race days themselves, especially that Friday night one when the shootout final should be on, it's packed because it's horsepower and it's horsepower. and they come to the track to see it.
So there it is. Get into your inbox, fill in the survey. If you don't fill it in, don't complain around changes. That's the biggest thing that I can say. Don't whinge if you don't fill it in. John?
Yeah, it's the same thing. If you don't read it, you can't understand it, don't complain then either.
Exactly. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Mark.